Hi everyone, this is Rick with the Tractor Channel, and I wanted to make a video and go over some of the options that you have with adding a forklift attachment or a quick attach to your excavator, and why something like that would be helpful and if you need something like that. Okay, so in this picture right here we have a Bobcat E35 that we're using to make this video. It's a 3.5 ton excavator. Well, it's actually 3 ton, but we kind of call it a 3.5 ton because this is the turbocharged model. It's a long arm, and it does have the turbocharged 34 horsepower diesel engine in it. So we basically call it a 3.5 ton excavator. Now in this particular picture, this we have an adapter on here that we actually made, and we have it going to a quick attach, and then the quick attach is hooked up to a forklift. As you can see right here, it's hooked up to a forklift assembly. So here's the adapter, here's the quick attach part, and then this is the forklift assembly part of it. So as you can see, the beauty of this is that you can track right along with the steel that you're moving in a parallel pattern. So all this steel came out of this steel pile behind here. This day I moved about 15,000 pounds worth of steel, loading it onto this flatbed trailer right here. And as you notice, there's 2 awnings that I have to get under. So the nice thing about when you're using an excavator as a forklift is that you can track in the same direction as the steel. If you were using a regular forklift, or if you were using this fork attachment on a skid steer loader, you would have to have plenty of room to be able to move around so that steel would be able to clear everything you're trying to drive by. Whereas in this situation, you can drive longitudinally with the actual steel that you're moving around. So first thing I do want to say too is actually please like and subscribe. You get the discount codes if we have some available at the time, and if we're giving away anything free, you'd be entered in that also. Also, when you're doing something like this with an excavator, you always got to think of safety. This is an excellent way to flip your excavator very quickly or damage something easily. Now at any time, most of these pieces of steel on here are about 20 feet long, but at any time they can move on that forklift assembly. They can come through the window of that excavator instantly. So the better you can have them balanced on there, if you strap them on there, even better. But you have to be aware when you're lifting something like this, and especially if it's heavy, and the excavator can easily become out of tilt. And here's a but anyways, let's just go through some of this stuff. Safety is always got to be on your mind, so you don't hurt anybody or hurt yourself or hurt your machine. But here's the same excavator moving a piece of sheet steel. This is it's probably 3/16 thick. It's 4 by 10 at least. Pretty heavy piece of steel. The reason I like using the forklift attachment, I just have a choker strap on here, and you do have a lifting eye on most of these excavators. Let's see if I can zoom in here and see where this one will be at. But there's usually a place you can put a clevis, you can put a strap or a chain on there. But I do like using the forklift assembly because I think it holds stuff and keeps it from spinning around as much. You're in better control. Now this particular, you can buy these in a lot of different configurations. Let me show you a picture of this one here. This is one that's sold. It has an excavator mount on it. Now you can get whatever kind of mount that you want, but this one is right on a forklift or a fork attachment. So in this particular situation, you're only going to be using that on this, it's a set unit. You're not going to be able to change it. But the beauty of getting one that's on a quick attach is, let me pull up a picture here. When you have one in this configuration, this is your excavator mount. Like I said, you can get them in a bunch of different configurations. But see, this one is mounted on a quick attach. And then you could hook that quick attach to, well, on this one, we actually use it on a postal auger. Now this is just a standard postal auger that you would have with this, you know, like a low flow tractor. You can see on here it's kind of nice because you can use other pieces of, you know, maybe some of your implements that you've used on your skid steer or your Kubota or Coyote tractor or something like that. You can be able to use that now on your excavator. But one thing I do want to say is when you do this, you basically turn your excavator into a you know, high reach forklift. And this one, even on this little 3.5 ton excavator, we're getting about 16-17 foot of reach on here. So if you were putting up a beam or a truss or something, like if you're building something, they work really good for that kind of stuff. Now, there's no mention of how safe you really need to be with this stuff. When you get something high up in the air like this, you are adding so much force to be able to tip these things over. So you always need to be careful. You always need to have a way out of the situation you're in. If you do put your front blade down, you know it's better. It gives you way more support. You're going to be able to handle more weight, but you just always got to be mindful that this thing could be tipping over at any minute. So always be careful. Now here, in this situation, I'm actually moving a gun safe, and this gun safe is not your average little, you know, tiny gun safe. This is a full-on, good-sized gun safe. This thing probably weighs, a couple thousand pounds. But as you can see here, I'm lifting it with the forklift. And what I did is, just for it's so hard to strap the gun safe onto the trailer, what I did is I just loaded the excavator on the trailer with the gun safe still on. I just drove it right up on the tilt deck trailer, strapped it down, and moved it that way. Now, here's a picture of this actual adapter that I made. These adapters you can buy for excavators. Like, see this top part here? This is actually ordered for a Bobcat exchange system, and then it's just welded on. Now this over in this area, this is a quick attach unit. This is the excavator mount welded to these pieces of metal, welded to this quick attach unit. And then this is just a regular forklift frame. Now this one happens to be a smaller one for like an MT100 for a Bobcat. But you can use any forklift frame on there. But I'm just trying to show you how this one was made. It works out really well because if you just bought the one that's made for the forklift, then you're just, only thing you could use is the forklift with it. But with this one, I'm able to use any quick attach, you know, attachment that I got that the excavator, of course, will lift, or the hydraulic flow has capacity to run. And here's a short video of actually how the steel was moved. Like I said, I moved like 15,000 pounds of steel that day. And like, also the beauty of this thing is being able to pivot this main boom assembly right here. As you can see, looking at this excavator, how the boom is pivoted on there. I always like to give you a few tidbits on some of the machines that I'm using in these videos and some of the neat things about them. Now this little excavator right here, this Bobcat E35, of course it does have a enclosed cab with air conditioning. I pretty much have most of the windows open in this thing. It's 107 on this day that I'm doing this. And I like the open air, but the air conditioner actually works with the windows open, and you know, you're not cold or anything, but you definitely feel good with the air conditioner hitting on you. Also, a little fun fact about the front cup holder on this excavator, they use the plastic as the air conditioner vent. So I mean, it does have regular vents in there, but you can tell that the front cup holder, actually, if you put a water bottle in there, you know, here it gets so hot, like when it's 107 out and you have just a water bottle out, that water becomes hot, and it's not too comfortable drinking out of a hot water bottle. But if you put it in that front cup holder, that cup holder, believe it or not, even being plastic, actually is able to cool down that water bottle, which is kind of nice to have a you know, not a hot bottle of water. Another thing about this little excavator is when you're filling the gas tank on it, if you put the key in the on position, and I don't know if you have to have the lock down or not, you know, the operation lock on it, but I don't think you do. But if you have the key in the on position, when you're filling it, when you're getting near the top of where you need to stop with the diesel fuel when you're putting it in, it actually has a beeper that comes on, which is kind of nice. And then it lets you know, hey, you need to, you know, slow down or go ahead and stop filling it before it starts to overflow. Okay, so let me play the little video of actually loading the steel. Okay, this is a little job I had to do with that 3.5 ton excavator, was pull these two old Ford trucks out into the street where a wrecker could come, flatbed truck could come and take them away. Now, these have been sitting out in this pasture for about 20 years. There's a mesquite tree growing up through both of them. You can see where I had to cut those off. The 3.5 ton excavator did actually pull them really well. Tires are rotted off them and flat, so they didn't roll very good, but the 3.5 ton excavator pulled them really good. Now, one thing nice about these enclosed cabs, where you're going to be dealing with bees, each one of these trucks were full of, you know, killer bees, Africanized bees. As soon as I tugged on them a little bit, boy, they just came right for the cab of that excavator. And thank goodness I was able to just shut the windows, and they weren't able to get me inside that cab. But the bees are really getting to be a problem out here in Arizona. Anything that sets for very long, the bees, you know, put a hive in it. And the bees are really important, so it's kind of bad when you do have to euthanize them, but the bees pollinate everything, and they're really important. And it's too bad now that these Africanized bees they say 90% of our bees out here are Africanized, and kind of starting to believe it, because it's not like in the old days where you saw a bee, the bee went his own way and you went your own way. Now they instantly start attacking you out here. Okay, so in this video, I had to move this storage container, and it's a 20-foot container of a tilt deck trailer, and I've already moved it around. It was flat against those yellow flowers back there, but these dargum killer bees, they were between the dirt and the storage container in the lift holes. Now in this video, you see, what I did is I had ordered a brand new welding jacket, and after getting stung 32 times, I went back to my shop, and I have an industrial sewing machine, and I was able to build myself a bee suit by using that welding jacket, and then I had some real flexible mesh that I was able to use for the top part of it that I could see out of. But man, these killer bees, they were pretty aggressive. What I did is I went down to Walmart and I got like 4 gallons of vinegar. I'd seen on the internet where the bees don't like the vinegar and water. So I have a sprayer, mixed it up, put the bee suit that I just made on. I call that a Jimmy DiResta moment, because if you ever watch any Jimmy DiResta videos, he's kind of like the MacGyver of real life. And, you know, he's not on television. He has a bunch of YouTube stuff and had a television show. But this guy can make anything. He's incredible. So I thought I was doing good by building this bee outfit. And it did. It worked good. It was kind of hot, of course. But I took that sprayer and the water and the vinegar, and I sprayed those bees. And it had no effect on them at all. I actually think they liked it. I think it helped maybe cool them off a little bit, but it didn't seem to have any effect to deter them. They were just as bad the next day, but didn't seem. Now, something I wanted to explain in this picture too, and it's kind of weird. If you see all those yellow flowers in the background, that's a new plant we have in Arizona called stinknet, and somehow it's come in through the air in little atoms, and it's from Africa. And it actually ruins a bunch of farmland, and it's a terrible problem. Now you notice where that fence line is, this is different dirt from where the fence line is. And that all that dirt on the other side of that fence is contaminated with that stink net. But they're worried about that stuff getting into agriculture fields, because once it takes over, you can't really grow normal plants in there. So, and it smells terrible. It smells like real strong marigolds. But I'm zooming in on these bees again. The fire department actually came out and foamed these bees about 3 or 4 years ago, but I guess we never got the queen bee, so it never deterred them. They were still here. This storage container, I actually moved this about 10 miles, and those bees were still in there when I moved it 10 miles. I don't know if they have a little GPS or something, or a motion sensor built into the bees' brains, but somehow those bees knew to not come out in the air when that trailer was being towed, 50 miles an hour down the road. It's amazing how smart bees are. But in this situation, I just didn't want to kill the bees. They're very important, and if you can get them to move, then it's a lot better for the bees, a lot better for the environment. But in this situation, those bees weren't going anywhere. So that's not a good thing to have to you know, kill a hive like that. And always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe so you get entered for discount codes and if we're giving anything away. And I think those 2 trucks are actually for sale if anybody's interested in. I think they're 1972 3/4 ton trucks. But hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.